Namibia and shoot this Kalahari episode, and you actually have to do things like that when you're shooting a show. Logistically speaking, you've only got so much money to film an episode of Survivor Man, and you have to make that money last. You have to be able to pay for everything that's going on. You have to have money left over to do all the editing, and the onlining, and the color correction, and all stuff like that. Very expensive proposition. So if you're going to go to Africa, can you shoot 2 episodes, maybe 3? That makes a big difference because then you just save a lot on flights. It sounds like common sense, but it's not really. You have to learn this process to get it right. So this is me running out of gas now, and basically set it up so that is exactly what Which, yeah, of course it's set up. But I'm there to use this process to show you survival in the Kalahari Desert. And the only way I can do that is to set up a scenario. And you know when I'm there, I'm going to be alone, I'm going to do everything, I'm going to go through survival, I'm going to film it. But to start it off, it does have to come from my brain and my creativity on, okay, well, what is being a Canadian, dealing with the heat, that was actually something that was pretty good. So you see, that was always fun, showing the safety crew finished getting the opening shots and leaving. And in this case, they did the opening left there, so I could shoot the opening the day before and like that. That was, remember, this is early in the days. You know, other survival shows on television. It was just Survivor Man, and so that was me letting you know, hey, just to remind you, yes, aerials with a helicopter while I'm driving, but now I'm alone. And just that 1 minute, 2 seconds of you seeing the cameraman leaving puts it in your mind. You remember, oh yeah, dude, it was always very important.
Alone in the Kalahari Desert.
That moment when the crew leaves. So now I'm doing a little bit of teaching here. The moment when the crew leaves is always a very strange time for me. It's like, if any of you dive, it's like, you know that on top side, before you go beneath the waves, it's very messy, it's very noisy, you're bumping and jostling people, you've got to put on all the dive gear. You hit those waves, everything just goes. It's a great experience. It's like that. It used to when I used to get dropped off for remote canoe trips. The plane would leave, Survivor Man would come back. Crew's there, we're filming this, I'm reading my opening lines and everything. Eventually, they all got to go and leave me alone. They leave, and there's always a moment. You'll never see it on camera, but I take a moment, sometimes a good moment, like a half an hour, I'll just have to let myself come down and start to get the senses about me. All right, now what am I going to do? You know, it's 3 hours before it's dark, it's cold, it's hot. What am I actually doing? So this is what my brain, survival. First things first, what do I need to do? Oh, I need to do this and this and not okay, good. Next part. Now, how am I going to film that? Oh, and then I start thinking about how I'm going to film it. And I have to do this pretty much every single Survivor Man show. I go through that.
For centuries, the Bushmen of the Kalahari have survived by sitting still during the heat of the day. And it isn't taking long for me to figure out why. The heat is oppressive.
Yeah, the heat is oppressive. It's a good word that I like to use because I'm used to my big Canadian blood, great and cold, heat up and quite a bit. So these scorpions, it's so cool because it's basically it's the way big they are. And I'd never lived here.
It's as wide as it's full.
Yeah, so I'm explaining right there. I'd never seen them, and they were just everywhere. At nighttime.
For me, I have to think about my priorities now. First priority is just to get through this night. In the back of the pickup truck.
When I've stranded myself in a vehicle, airplane in Australia, the truck here, quite warm, and car in Norway. Admittedly, on one hand, there's a quick advantage. Shelter right there, ready to go. It makes a big difference, actually. On the other hand, it can be a bit of a trap. It didn't make a lot of sense in the air in Australia, for example. And in Norway, I was, well, I'll get to that when I do the director's commentary, so I'm not going to tell you now. But here, it gave me slightly of how to get up off the rough night.
And the thirst brought about that. Tomorrow morning I'll go real early. See what I've got. Take stock of my supply.
That's the key. In the desert, who travels in the morning? It's at night if you can travel at night. It's late in the evening. It's
Oh, this is where I ended up spending the night in the cab of the truck.
so you can hear my nose all stuffed up from spending the night there. Some things you got to think about when I'm in Survivor Man. That's a week without brushing my teeth. It's a week without splashing my face. It's all of those things.
Fall at the barrel. I came out here knowing I had this head cold anyway, but
Oh yeah, I had a head cold. Forgot about that.
gotta deal with it.
And I don't think, maybe once, but maybe not, if I ever stopped with Survivor Man because I had a cold. In the season one Arctic episode, I had laryngitis. What it did do was make me sound really sexy and raw voice. That was kind of cool.
Matter to rip apart a vehicle. In fact, only a multiple it can be pretty tough.
Right. So now I'm starting to. You ever rip apart a vehicle with your hands? Right. Not so easy. A lot of stuff is very tough to do with your bare hands. In hunting, I was like, why don't you just go like hunt deer, make a bow and arrow? Yeah. You're gonna catch a deer with some thread and a bobby pin. That's gonna happen.
Not much water.
I always enjoy doing this. I enjoy having odds and sods of items because that is usually what you have. You usually tend to have items that are just like nonsensical, but they can be used for something else. That was a very early part of making Survivor Man I enjoy. In fact, behind the scenes, we used to call it the MacGyverism. What's the MacGyverism in the show? Well, I'm going to take apart this bike, or I'm going to make a fishing float out of bubble gum, or those MacGyverisms, as we call